How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. And some recent news from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. In the Copper Country, there is an addition being added to the Baraga County Historical Museum. This addition will vastly expand the existing museum. This museum will be dedicated to the late Fred Rydholm and will be called Fred Rydholm Copper History Museum. While I was at the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society conference at the beginning of October of this year, Jay Wakefield, joined by the Baraga County Historical Society's president, Paula McElroy, and architect Barry Polson to discuss the plans and their goals for this building of this addition. This $2 million addition would include the Fred Rydholm Copper Museum section, which is the story of Michigan's copper mining and copper culture throughout history or prehistory, according to the curators and whoever is going to be hands-on or anyone that is willing to donate artifacts and tools, whatever, that show the copper history of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. There will also be a section for the Keweenaw Bay Indian community, as the Keweenaw Bay Indian community is also working with the Baraga Historical Society to get this museum addition built and hopefully filled with different artifacts and mementos throughout history. The addition will also include a research museum and a gift shop, as well as a 2-bedroom apartment for potentially in the future a full-time live-in museum director. This project is projected to cost $2 million and has already broken ground on October 8th, 2025.
A museum in Baraga celebrated the start to a special project today.
TV6's Julia Seitz attended the ribbon cutting to ask about the museum's renovations.
These copper shovels broke ground for upcoming renovations in Baraga. The Baraga County Historical Society held a ribbon cutting today for its $2 million museum project. The museum will include new galleries dedicated to Copper Country and the Keweenaw Bay Indian community history. Society President Paula McElroy says the project unites all histories and heritages.
Jay Wakefield has already donated over $1 million to start the project. One of the features in this museum will be an 8-foot-tall statue of a Native American holding a large chunk of native copper. This statue is based off of the skeletal remains of an 8-foot-tall giant found in a burial mound. And they are working with bones experts and more artists to recreate what they figured this gentleman looked like, possibly thousands of years ago. So I thought that was actually pretty neat. The museum's goal is to tell the whole story of Michigan's Upper Peninsula and the copper mining from as far back as we can find to recent times. Baraga County Historical Society President Paula McElroy had to say this about the additions to the museum. The 3 separate galleries work with 3 separate periods of our history and just really complete the story from start to finish, from ancient to modern. I think that it's an important part of what we do here as a historical society. Part of the addition is going to be a small gallery for the tribe to tell a story from its perspective. We think it is incredibly important that they have that space to be able to tell their story, and that's one of the reasons they are as excited as we are. From my understanding, they have not had a lot of interest in being able to tell their story here, and is well overdue. And in joining the groundbreaking ceremony were leaders of the Keweenaw Bay Indian community and a drum circle to commemorate the tribe's involvement. Baraga County Historical Society plans to open a seat on the board so a member of the KBIC can be present and be a part of all future decisions made. The museum addition is expected to be complete and open for visitors sometime next summer, 2026. Now, of course, this was not something that wasn't going to have controversy. There have been lots of people on online groups dedicated to old copper culture or even archaeological history online that are yelling loudly about how this is a farce. A post on the people pushing back against the Fred Rydholm museums has this to say. Just to keep people fully aware, there's a group touting hugely incorrect OCC, old copper culture, history now connected to the Baraga, Michigan Museum. These diffusionists have bought their way in by donating over $1 million and will be promoting Phoenicians, not Native Americans, as being behind the creations of copper artifacts and the shipping copper overseas. This paid-for diffusionist museum coming up in Baraga, part of the Native reservation, is like putting a white history museum in Harlem. Tourists with little knowledge of factual Native American old copper culture history will eat up their wonky misinformation just like people did with American Unearthed. And I'm leaving out names. I have nothing personal against anyone. I just would like for all sides that get along and work towards something instead of going back and forth. Because the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society's members, some of the members are a part of this, and the museum edition will be named after the founding member, Fred Rideholm. There has been some pushback on what could possibly be displayed in the museum. There already have been lots of claims and speculation from people uneducated with the project going on. They are just reading the story and then making up their own assumptions. They have claimed that some of the artifacts that will be displayed are all frauds alongside the indigenous artifacts. And these frauds, they're speculating, would be perhaps maybe the Michigan tablets on copper, which I'm not saying that I think that all the Michigan tablets are real or the Michigan artifacts, but I think some of them are. There have been calls to sound the alarm on the project, let people know their thoughts on the false histories being exhibited in the museum. This museum is strictly voluntarily run. That means it is not affiliated with any state-run organizations or the government in itself. So they can do what they want. Some of the people pushing back are saying that the AAPS and its members that are responsible for the donations, such as Jay Wakefield or anyone that are contributing to the museum, they claim the AAPS members are saying that only Europeans and Western Asia peoples mine the copper, and not the indigenous peoples. I've been to 2 of these conferences, and there is no one set idea of anyone. Everyone has their own ideas, and the Native Americans of Michigan's Upper Peninsula at the time, we already know that they were definitely some of the miners. But that's how it's always been for anyone that's had an idea or a theory or even an artifact or proof that goes against the grain of mainstream archaeology. Luckily, there has been also pushback on the side of the AAPS and the Baraga Historical Society. Some people such as Ricardo Calvario, who has worked closely with some of the other members that are doing a lot of social media, such as Occam's Razor, has this to say: a tremendous effort from the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society to create this space, a home for history and many artifacts that, although important, would otherwise never be seen by anyone. However, it has been pushed back by a group of skeptics that is clearly focused on not letting it happen. They will fail. I was at the beginning of the work ceremony, and these are good people. Wise people, scholars, and researchers that studied 40 years plus into the subjects and holy knowledge that would otherwise be lost. A wisdom that academia would like nothing more than to see it suppressed and silent so that their dogmas are never challenged, and their books and papers, although wrong or incomplete, are never contradicted. This is another clear example of academia failing to follow scientific method, and that in its essence is the action of constantly trying to prove itself wrong so that it can learn and evolve in its understanding of reality. Be it the past, present, or future, why natural philosophy was the correct approach, why the materialistic and uniformitarians fought so hard to eradicate it. Yeah, no. It's a tale as old as time. The one half of the archaeological community saying, we know what happened, we know this, we know that. And then the other side arguing, well, maybe this happened, or there's these weird anomalies that could potentially tell another story. And then it's like, no, you're wrong, we're right. New museum edition going in the Baraga County in Baraga. It's broken ground. They started the project. Hopefully be open next year. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Share the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.